Hey, this is RJ May, and you're watching Mr. Mario 2011.
Hey, what is going on, everyone? It is me, Mr. Mario, and today I'm going to be bringing you another commentary, and today I'm actually going to be bringing you a topic that I've wanted to talk about for quite a bit, so sit back, relax, and enjoy this. But first off, if you are looking at the video here, because I know there are several people who I do this also with commentaries as well, so if you do it, I'm not offended because I do the same thing to many others, but there might be some people who are, tabbed out or they're not paying attention to the video or anything just because they want to hear what I'm talking about, which if you are here, thank you very much. But if you are paying attention to the video, the game that I'm going to be using for this commentary is 60-Second Shooter Prime, and I just want to give a quick plug to this game just because I saw this game, I heard about it from Stallion83. In case you don't know, he has the #1 gamer score on Xbox Live. It was pretty interesting to follow him up to 1 million and all that. I used to be a former gamer score whore myself, and then I got out of it just because for a while I kind of stopped playing games, but that's for a whole nother commentary. But, I still follow him just to see his, adventure and, his trek and everything like that. And he actually recommended this game. He said, it's a real fun game if you're an achievement whore, easy 1,000, and it's only $5. If you have an Xbox One, get $5 and buy this game. This game is so fun. It is so addictive. It's a simple concept, and you're going to look at the footage here, but achievements pop up every few seconds, and it's a very easy game to master. The footage you're watching, this is the first time I ever played the game, and within 20 or 30 minutes, I was getting super high scores on this game, but it is fantastic. If you have an Xbox One, just do yourself a favor, get $5, buy the game, it's worth it, because trust me, I have an Xbox One, don't lie to yourself, I know that the platform is dry, I know there's nothing to play on there right now, so you might as well just get this game for $5 and, have a few hours of enjoyment. Anyways, what I'm going to be talking about today might have to do with, the dryness of this next generation and everything. Now, this is a thing a lot of people complain about. They say there's nothing to play on this next generation that's out. The PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, and I'll even throw the Wii U in there. Even though the Wii U, it's had more of a head start because it came out in 2012. So, if you notice, there's actually more games and, in my opinion, some better games to play on the Wii U, but I'm going to be focusing more on the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. First off, talking about the topic that there's no games available to play, this has happened with almost every generation. This is normal, it's understandable. I'm not going to, be saying anything about that. But the real disappointing fact of the matter has been, as people know, these systems are underpowered compared to, what has come out previous generations. The Xbox 360, for example, when that came out, there was really no PC component that could touch the 360 until about 3 months after it launched. Now, I just saw Digital Foundry put this up the other day. It was actually today. They were running with it was all in pounds, so, euros, pounds, just across the pond talk. But they had a 100-pound GPU, about a 45-pound CPU, which was like an Intel Pentium, G something, and it was playing Crysis 3 at very high settings at 30 frames a second, almost stable. So, what I'm trying to say is, you could get a real cheap budget PC, and it would kind of sort of match, a next-gen console now, which is kind of disappointing to see. And because of this, you're starting to see this a lot more, and this kind of started a little bit of a pandemic last generation, but this generation, if it keeps happening, I don't know what's going to happen, and I keep switching up. What I mean is, when I say, current gen, that's what I'm going to say. If I say current gen, I'm talking about the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3. If I'm talking about next gen, I'm talking about the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. Now, what I'm trying to talk about here is HD remakes that are coming out. When is it enough, is what I want to know. What companies get free passes? What games get free passes? Because, see, this is the issue I have with it, and I'm not one of those people that fights tooth and nail with it, but I just look at it logically, okay? Now, for me, I think if a game is, let's say, 5 years old or something, let's say a Grand Theft Auto HD collection was going to come out. It had Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas. You know, the original 3D trilogy, and it was remade and retooled for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. I would find that perfectly acceptable. Not because it's Grand Theft Auto, but, you know, because those games do show their age. Fire up your PS2, try out San Andreas, any of those games. I mean, they're still fantastic games, but, I mean, I remember personally back in 2004 when I played San Andreas, I felt like, you know, graphical-wise, it was a little bit tapped for what it was. Compared to, you know, it did look better than, let's say, Grand Theft Auto 3, but Grand Theft Auto 3 was a lot more impressive for a 2001 game. Now, you're going to have other games coming out. The first one I really want to talk about is The Last of Us Remastered. Now, I will say this. I'm trying to keep my opinion out of it. Everyone thinks this is the best game in the world. I am one of the 5 people on this earth who believes that the game was, at best, okay. I'll save that for another video because that's not, you know, my opinion should not influence anything on this video, on this commentary. But I'm just throwing that out there. Now, as you all know, at the end of this month, The Last of Us is going to get remastered. The Last of Us Remastered will be coming out onto PlayStation 4. It's essentially going to be a remastered / Game of the Year edition that's going to have all the DLC, all that stuff, and it's going to be $50. Me personally, I don't agree with this practice. Now, why is that? I don't agree with it because the game it's a little over a year old now. That's it. I think that's a little too young to have a remaster coming out. And a lot of people are okay with this. Why are people okay with it? Because they say it is a good game. So let me get this straight. With a lot of people, their logic would be, if it's a good game, it doesn't matter. If it's just a year, or maybe 6 months and it gets remastered. It's a good game, right? But what if it's an okay game, or what if it's a bad game, and it's like a 5-year-old game? So that can or can't be remastered? Most people will probably say okay. But what if it was the same thing? Let's say a game came out in July of 2013. Right now I'm recording this 1 year later. And it was an alright game. You know, it was moderately meh across the board. I'm sure a lot of people would disagree with it and say, oh, this game doesn't deserve to get Game of the Year. This game doesn't deserve to get a remaster. Nothing like that. Why? Just because the game is bad? Yet a game that's critically acclaimed like The Last of Us is going to be like that. Now, here's the thing. There's only really 2 reasons that I see that many people should get The Last of Us remastered. And it's one of those things, I actually heard another commentator say this, and I agreed with him 100%. But if you did not play it because you didn't have a PS3 or you just didn't pick it up on the PS3, this is a very good time to try it out. Don't let my opinion influence you. Don't let anyone else's opinion influence you. At least rent the game, try it out yourself. You'll enjoy it. You might not enjoy it. Whatever it is. Or if there is absolutely nothing to play on the PlayStation 4, which because of that, I think the game is going to sell ridiculously well. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, well, you know, it's okay if this game comes out because it's one of the best games out on the system. It's okay if it comes out because a lot of people who have PS4s transitioned over from the Xbox 360 and did not have a PlayStation 3 to play this amazing game. My retort to that is, if you want to get a PS3, I mean, the game is still, it looks great, it runs great on the PlayStation 3, and PS3s, you can get them for quite cheap now. I'm pretty sure you can get Last of Us with a PS3 for anywhere from $100 to $150, so it's nothing bank-breaking, and it would certainly be less expensive than an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4, and there are still a lot of people on the PlayStation 3, so it really doesn't matter, at least in my opinion, with all of that. Now, another game that is slated to it's rumored to get an HD remake is Beyond Two Souls. There are some rumors floating around that it's going to be getting a remaster, you know, very similar treatment as to what The Last of Us is getting. And there are a lot of people that are saying, this game doesn't need to be remade. This game doesn't need to be remastered. My question is, and I said it earlier in the commentary, I'm assuming if this game does get remastered, it will come out at least a year after the previous game, you know, the original for PlayStation 3 came out. So why is it that Last of Us is universally getting this free pass, yet Beyond Two Souls isn't? There are several people who enjoyed the game. Me personally, it was my game of the year for 2013 for original games. In case you don't know, I actually had 2 games of the year because I could not decide. I had Grand Theft Auto 5 as my game of the year for a sequel, and I had Beyond Two Souls as my game of the year for an original title for 2013. But there were a lot of people that enjoyed it. Me personally, I thought it was the best original game I played last year. One of the best games, probably the best game, honestly, that I have played on the PS3, at least in my opinion. And again, I can use this same argument right here. A lot of people last generation only had an Xbox 360, meaning they missed out on this Sony exclusive PlayStation 3 title. So that means a lot of people who went and jumped ship from 360 to PlayStation 4 can now experience Beyond Two Souls. I mean, those are the 2 arguments that are being used in the case of The Last of Us, right? And that game is about a year old and it's getting a remaster, and that's okay. But for some reason, Beyond getting a remaster and being less than a year old is not okay. Can someone please explain to me the logic behind that? Explain your logic behind that, because to me, from what I am seeing, I just believe the reason why it's not being universally accepted is because either A, people are getting fed up with these, HD remakes, things like that, and or B, people don't think that it's worthy of a remaster, I guess. So this is my argument right here. If a game is good, does that alone support a remaster with that? Another game. It's less than a year old now, yeah. Grand Theft Auto 5, that is another game. Thought it was excellent. As you all know, it is going to be remade and remastered on next-gen systems. It's going to be out on the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, and the PC. Now, I only agree with about a third of this, and what I mean by that is I fully support a PC release of this game. However, Xbox One and PS4 releases, despite Grand Theft Auto 5 being an excellent game, a game that I thoroughly enjoyed and do still continue to play, I still hop on there every once in a while on the Xbox 360 whenever I have a friend that wants to play on Grand Theft Auto Online, or I just feel like messing around the single player. Do I think this should be remastered on next-gen systems? No, I really don't think it needs a remaster, at least so soon. And that is another thing with this. What is your timing for this? Because personally, let's say another game from the people that made Beyond Two Souls. If it was announced right now, the Heavy Rain, the game that was made before Beyond Two Souls, it plays very similar. If you enjoyed Beyond Two Souls, you will enjoy Heavy Rain. But let's say Heavy Rain was announced to get a remaster. The game came out in 2009, 2010, I want to say, so it's at least 4 years old. I think, that might be a little bit annoying, but I think it would be okay if that happened. But with just a year in between, I don't think that's right. And it seems like with this next generation, a lot of companies are just kind of copping out right now and are really wanting to use this generation overall just to do remasters while they're waiting and, pushing off original releases, new sequels, everything like that. And it's really getting pretty annoying, I'm going to be honest, because I'm one of those people. I know a lot of people don't do this, but this is why I tell people with stuff like this is why I tell people just hold on to your other systems. For another system, let's say if you sell an Xbox 360 right now, you're going to get maybe $40, $50 out of it if you go and trade it into GameStop, right? I'm pretty sure if you just keep it and even occasionally use it once or twice a month, you're going to get more than $50 of enjoyment out of the system with the games that you have and everything. Now, there are other things like one HD re-release that I support would be, for example, the Master Chief Collection. That has several games in it. First off, I was just mainly wanting Halo 2. I have told people, I said, I would pay $40, $50 for a 10th year anniversary Halo 2 remake. I think that'd be great. And they're giving us so much more in there for $60. With that, I find it fair. I'm going to play through all the games. I really don't mind with that. I think that's all right. Now with, what's another game? Tomb Raider. That actually got a remaster, a re-release, whatever you want to call it, about a year later. I actually did rent this game. I rented it through GameFly, and that's what I'm going to do with a lot of these re-releases. I'm going to play them more than likely, but I think I'm just going to be renting them. But what happened was I rented it through GameFly, I played through it. Yes, it did look much better on the PlayStation 4 as opposed to the Xbox 360 when I played it on there. Do I think it really needed an HD, remaster re-release? No, it didn't. But at the time it came out, there was absolutely nothing to play with my brand new shiny system, so what else could I do? What I'm trying to say here is if there are any developers out there as well, please, just start announcing, just do something with original games, because that is what this generation is needing. And I understand it's difficult. I understand it's hard. A lot of genres have been bled dry. A lot of ideas have been tapped out. And that's unfortunate, but we need more stuff like this. Like even a game like this, for example, the game I'm playing right now. I paid $5 for this. It doesn't have a story. It doesn't have, super in-depth, complex gameplay or anything like that. But it's something fun. It's something sort of original, at least. It's not an HD remake that I'm playing on my system. That's all I really have to say about this. But let me know what you all think of this, because this HD remake thing, I personally remember when people were saying that Sony was going overboard with HD remakes on the PS3. And compared to what is going on now, the PS3, with it being, how old is it now? 8 years old. With the amount of HD remakes on it, I feel like it doesn't even pale in, comparison, or even, I'm going to say, corruption compared to now. Like, I remember, let's say, Jak and Daxter, for example, when the Jak and Daxter collection came out, 3 Jak and Daxter games, because I don't think it had combat racing on there. I think it just had Jak and Daxter, Jak 2, and Jak 3. It at least had the Jak and Daxter trilogy on there, and it was sold at a discounted price, and there was enough time to come out for it to be, available and fair. Now you have games that are released, and 6-7 months later, remasters are announced. It's ridiculous. It's getting ridiculous, everyone. It really is. Anyways, this is Mr. Mario signing off. Thank you for watching, everyone, and I really appreciate you all, checking this out.